Hello, I'm Tommy.
I'm Jimmy, and we are here with the wonderful Lucas Steele.
The one and only.
Hey.
Hi.
Tell us who you play in this wonderful show.
I play Anatole Karagan.
Right, so let's talk about Anatole, because he is a fascinating man.
He really is.
He's a really fascinating man.
He's definitely something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's go and right at the start. Like, I think in many ways people could watch this and say that, oh, you know, he's the villain for the piece, right? How would you address that?
I think villains generally are conscious of the fact that they're doing something wrong. So Anatole to me isn't quite a villain because he suffers from just being oblivious.
Yeah.
He sees something he likes, he goes after it because I want it. It's that childish sort of impetus that's there. Yeah. So is he a villain? I'm not sure. As much as he is kind of unknowing and a little dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little dumb.
We were kind of saying this yesterday with Sinead that those two, Natasha and Anatole, they're young. Do you know what I mean? They're kind of young kids at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And make these silly mistakes in the heat of the moment.
Yeah. Well, and doesn't Natasha have a line earlier that's like, "I'm in love, no one understands," and like, of course, everyone understands love,
but
but
no one's been there before.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's where they both are. Is like, this is beyond anything we've ever experienced.
Yeah. I do. The one moment that I sort of in my head that I struggle with when it comes to what I just said about him not knowingly sort of doing this is he lies to Pierre's face, though he does it through an omission of sorts. When Pierre says, you know, how was the opera, and he says Natalia Rostova was there, and he brings up that he's betrothed, and Anatole looks him straight in the eye and he just says charming, and he keeps moving.
Yeah.
That's the one moment that I feel like, to me, that's Anatole spends a lot of time going back and forth between Natasha and Pierre.
Yeah.
And there's two relationships going on there. There's a romance and there's a bromance.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's the moment where he does. It's questionable. But I do think that him just kind of not acknowledging it and moving on comes more out of a place of, oh, whatever.
Right,
it'll all
exactly.
work out. It'll all be fine.
There's no malice there. Do you know what I mean?
Correct.
It's not, I'm going to manipulate my way all the way through.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It does come back to bite him in the butt in big ways. In that too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, there are consequences to your actions.
Yeah.
And he has not dealt with that before. I think that's one of the thoughts every night when the comet blazes in that final moment of the show, when Pierre has his sort of moment of enlightenment. We each sit privately in our areas on the stage and we have our own relationship to what that moment actually is. And for me, when the comet is doing that, it's first the sense of, oh wow, cool, look, there's this comet in the sky.
Yeah.
And then it starts turning into, no, that's not a comet, that is a bomb that is dropping on Moscow.
Right.
And now Moscow's on fire, and now my leg is being sawed off, and it's done.
Right.
Like, I just literally lost everything in this twist of who knows what, not really expecting, even though there is a war going on out there. And I think also the relationship with his sister is very complicated.
Right, actually, can we talk a bit about that? Because that's something I am fascinated with.
Yeah.
And even from the cast album, the Casino
one,
I was like,
there's something.
There's a little something there.
Did you guys talk to Amber?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
Does she have different views?
Well, no, we both are sort of in agreement that we don't give a definitive answer on that.
Excellent. No, absolutely great.
Let people sort of discover what they want in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not your most conventional of sibling relationships.
Well, we were talking to Nick Chokesy, who may also be in there.
Thing going on there too.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I ain't complaining. But he was sort of saying that that kind of exemplifies what's happening in Moscow at this time, this decadence, where people are just going for what they want.
Yeah.
And however that's
like
kind
an
of
hedonism to it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
The pleasure.
Yeah, whilst, all of this crazy stuff is happening in the real world.
Yeah, there's a war going on out there, but like chandeliers and caviar.
Yeah.
That's what we got now.
Which I think is so wonderfully topical about doing this piece right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in the world, and it's easy to kind of tune yourself into whatever wavelength you think the world is functioning in, and no, fine, I don't need to pay attention to what these other people sort of think.
Yeah.
But this is what history has taught us that civilizations have done for thousands of years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, this is how they sort of
1812,
implode.
Yeah.
So
How many seconds
I'm not
do we
wishing
need?
that.
Yeah, I know, right, exactly.
Well, and it's still kind of an in-between there, because I don't think the message of the show is like, don't enjoy the decadence. Like, but it's also not like, don't forget, like, there's also a war going
Right.
on.
Yeah,
And
it's
there's
finding that balance, isn't it?
a wonderful, interesting in-between that I think the show is trying to get at.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think too the importance of the fact that people have dedicated their lives to that other thing that's sort of keeping you in your buoyant sense
Right.
of
Yeah.
confidence. And I think that idea of, as Pierre is going on this kind of parallel journey to his own enlightenment, to sort of wake up, as the song says.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting in how you watch this other girl going like in the opposite direction,
Right.
and the consequences of both of these things.
Yeah.
Waking up is a wonderful thing, but also a terrifying thing.
Absolutely.
Right.
You suddenly realize, oh,
Yeah.
There's lots
can
of
I
stuff
say
going on.
shit? Yeah, you
Yeah,
know, it's
just
just
say
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what is all of this?
Yeah.
And
So do you think Anatole gets that moment?
I put it in there for myself every night,
Yeah.
but that's at the very end, kind of in the dark when I sit
Right,
there and watch
okay.
the comet.
You
There
need
is
that
one
closure
moment
to-
of his sort of realizing, oh, God, I really made a mess of this.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
But-
you know,
I think that's my own.
that's okay.
That's just me needing it every night.
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly.
sure that-
Otherwise, you'd be on a weird roll for the rest of the
Yes, exactly.
For the rest of the night, you need to switch that up.
Yeah. When you live in that space for 3 hours, almost 3 hours, 8 times a week, it's tricky how it starts bleeding into your life.
Right.
And I have to be very conscious of the way I can come off sometimes.
Okay.
'Cause I just get sort of used to being in this place. And I am the exact opposite of that. believe it or
Right.
not. I'm extremely insular.
Yeah.
I'm super sensitive.
Yeah.
I hold a lot of stuff back, but it's interesting how in the moments while I'm doing this show, if something sort of sends me over the edge, I just like, it
You
just
can-
all comes flying out.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, there he is.
Sneak it up and
Put him away.
I know.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
happens a lot, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
you often
especially-
end up finding the roles that are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think with
That's so neat.
theater especially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's so much time you spend in their
Absolutely.
shoes.
Yeah.
Really awesome to be involved with something from the beginning, with especially such an eclectic style.
Right.
That I feel like
Like that's what I was
really
going to
happened
ask.
before.
It's not. It's really not. And how does that feel as a performer and as an actor? Like getting this music that is new. Do you know what I mean? That's unheard of, and you were there defining that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
When this project came along, it was the perfect time for my artistic soul.
Right.
Because I was super interested in the idea of exploring synthetic sound, also with organic sound. When I saw what Dave was doing, I was sort of like, yes, like this is what should be happening.
Yeah.
That's
in
that's
theater.
that's exactly what we felt. We were like,
Yeah.
about time. Like this is this new thing that you know. What I mean,
Yes.
we've been waiting
Yeah.
40 odd years.
Just
for,
on the
like-
edge of describability and like just outside of what you know. And,
In the past couple of years, with there being phenomenons that are happening on stage in gigantic ways, it's really helping to refresh it in a way
Yeah.
and look at it with eyes that are new of how
Yeah.
you tell the story.
yeah.
And I think this is super important, or else it'll just atrophy and sort of
Absolutely.
Yeah.
die. You
Right.
know, people won't
Yeah.
really come to it anymore.
But that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, no,
Promise
no
you.
way.
Yeah.
And plus, I have so many ideas as a director.
Yeah.
When I'm done with this, I am like
You know
on
where
the
you're
director
going.
path.
Amazing.
Yeah, and
But that's
I
it. Like
have
I feel like with COMET, that's the thing that I want people to get inspired by watching it, because we've been inspired
Yeah.
to be like, okay, well, this is what you can do with
Yeah.
theatre. Oh, okay,
I know.
I'll go do that then. You know,
I
I
know.
feel like getting onto Broadway is just legitimized it.
Yeah.
Well, I just love the audacity of what they,
exactly.
Yeah.
what they were willing to sort of go, well, this is what we're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And to have, you know, a producer on board who was willing
Yeah.
to foster that each time, and
Completely.
embrace it and have a bunch of artists. That this is such an eclectic cast, such a crazy group of people, and most of us all write ourselves.
Right.
So I think it is an ideal team of people working on this because we all sort of know how to step back and wrap our head around it and go, oh, this isn't a normal vocabulary that's going on.
Yeah.
But it allows us to create all of this awesome stuff and kind of be the freaks that we are and still be an homage to this thing that all of us totally geeked out over growing up. And
exactly.
to kind of do it our way.
Yeah. It's exciting times. It really is.
It's pretty cool.
It's amazing. Thank you so much for chatting to us.
You're welcome.
It's
a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been
Thank you so much.